Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Good.
I'm
Good.
glad that was an
Yeah.
easy setup. Sorry about the whole TikTok thing.
Yeah. I did. I think I did a TikTok thing once, like a couple of years ago, but then I didn't. I don't remember anything about the process. So thanks
No,
for
you're
thanks for helping me relearn.
thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. Before we get started, would you like to be addressed as Zach or Jacob?
Oh, you should call me Zach. That's it's my real name.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that whatever you're okay with.
Yeah. Yeah.
While everybody
Yeah.
trickles in, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um. Well, I'm Zach, and I have been narrating audiobooks, mostly romance, for 10 years. Um, but when I was in high school, that's when I decided I wanted to be an actor. I ended up going to NYU for college, and I studied Shakespeare. I studied the theater of the avant-garde, experimental theater. That was my sort of main course load, and learned a lot. And I think it sort of I got swashed in so many different directions, academically, that and like physically, that I think it set me up to be able to storytell. And I love doing this as a job, and I love being a part of any creation of any art, especially one that's so that receives such a response. Like, it's a very, very active community. So I'll forever treasure that. Um, and but yeah, no, I've been narrating for like 10 years. I've won a few awards and done almost 600 titles. Um, and yeah, it's been cool. Yeah.
600
I
titles.
was,
That is crazy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of which I was nominated for an Audie this past season, Lights Out, which I finally got on Cameo, and that's the only request I get is like, "We like you as Josh. Your Josh, so be Josh. Will you please do Josh?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah."
Josh, yeah. I recently listened to a lot of your MM books, and with like
Hmm.
you and
Hmm.
Teddy. And when I found Lights Out, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I was like, and then you're on it. I want to say that was like my favorite audiobook that I listened to all of last year.
Yeah,
It was so well done.
yeah, I think people really have responded to it because it's kind of like it's such a blend of it's such a drama, so it really touches on every possible feeling, and the sex in it is crazy, so people are like, wow, la, la, la. So yeah.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
my favorite parts were just Josh's character being funny. Like his
Hmm.
just little comebacks, and my favorite part would be like when he was sleeping and like the mask was covering his face. Like you woke up scared.
Yeah, yeah, I thought he was blind. um yeah, there's a lot of moments where I was like, because Nevessa was a member of my Patreon, and that's how I came to know her, and how she originally asked me to do the book. And I just felt like I don't always have the sense that I can like take liberty with the words. But and on this occasion, I totally did. Like, there were jokes in there that were some of them were intentional, and I think some of them were not. I don't know. But my favorite thing about a good joke is when a character is completely dead serious about something unserious, and
Right.
it's sort of the Peter Sellers school of acting, where like that's a person who's acting like they're in a drama, but it's in this stupid situation.
Right.
Sorry, I have this. So I'm out at a cabin in the mountains, and I have this friend who keeps bringing me rocks.
Oh,
Her
oh,
name's Coco.
baby.
Thanks for the rock, but your mom said I can't throw it to you. So go get your
Oh.
ball. Go get the ball. Go get. No, I'm not gonna throw the rock. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way.
We love puppies. No, but the lights out was just, it was so funny. And it took me off guard because I was expecting just like a traditional dark romance. I
Mhm.
wasn't expecting to laugh as much as I did in that book.
Yeah.
And it caught me off guard. I'm just like pushing my cart in Target and I'm just outright laughing.
I I really appreciated that it was the case because I think when people write darkness, it tends to be dark in tone also all the time, and you can have a really dark plot and then have a really like low stakes tone, and so that's why it was fun to do, and doing it with Elena slash Andy was great because we haven't done you know we haven't done duet together on Zoom in I don't even know how many years, and doing that was like really refreshing. It was just nice to work with her like that again.
And when you were recording it, did you have any bloopers where you were laughing at your own commentary?
Um, you know, I gotta find a system to like make bloopers a thing because they haven't really. It's harder when you're doing an audiobook because it's such a it's hours and hours of stuff, and it's not on video, so it's like typically. So unless I was being videotaped all the time, it would almost feel like I was trying to force having bloopers. But nothing specific. I think I was more so just laughing at the material because it was funny, like as opposed to like laughing at myself having to say something that I've never said before. It was more like these are funny jokes.
Right. I just always wonder when you're recording, because like we're laughing while listening or while we're eating, like, do you guys read it off the screen and just have to take a minute because it gets you,
Oh yeah.
it catches you off guard? Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. I'm interrupted way more by my own burps, but laughing happens too. Everybody in my Patreon knows full well how much I burp because every time I do a live reading in there, I'm just honking and honking and donking away.
And do you read books ahead of time or do you read as you're recording?
I there was one point where I was like trying to scan, um, but then the industry ultimately kind of shifted because as voice actors became more in demand, I think the industry realized like nobody has time to actually even scan these books if you're doing like two, three a week. Um, no, not for you. And just bringing me this dirty ass rock. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yes. There was
You
a
read
shift.
before.
People started supplying authors and producers started supplying sort of an info page that is descriptive of characters and of accents you might need to know. Really, the only thing that you need to know going into an audiobook is how do people sound, or if there's some sort of like some sort of big surprise ending in one character. Oh my god. I'm not gonna.
Just wants to be part of the life.
He's on the table. No, I'm not gonna throw the rock. No, I'm not gonna throw my nectarine either. It's not a nectarine; it's a mandarin orange. Stop it. So yeah, so the fact that I sort of didn't need to study in the past sort of became an industry I'm not gonna throw the rock.
We vote that you throw the rock.
I'm not allowed to. Your mom said don't chew rocks. Um, oh my god. Oh my. Sorry.
Okay, fine.
Okay, now I'm pissed. Get out of here. Wait.
Yay!
Um, um, I don't even know. Yeah. Anyway, so no, I don't read the books. I
Okay.
I usually it's just the nature of the thing. Like I love a cold read audition, and being able to cold read material, just knowing a few of the basics is a dream come true because there's no, like you can like there are different schools of thought. There are, I think, in audiobooks it should be like a sort of like path of discovery, sort of like more of a gentle thing, as opposed to like if you if you were doing if you're doing a Shakespeare play and you need to do hundreds of hours of study to make it perfect and succinct, but there's no memorizing involved. So if you're not memorizing anything, then you need to. I'm gonna lock her out. I have to.
Oh, she just wanted the rock thrown.
Sorry, Coco. Coco.
Poor puppy.
She's a born entertainer. And when I say lock her out, I mean put her in her vast, open, enormous yard that she has in the middle of nowhere, California. Love you. Maybe if you brought your ball, we could do that. Um, anyway, yeah, it's my long-winded, nothing answer for that.
No, I find that interesting because a lot of people that we had talked to, they are very much either they read it all the way through or and have notes and study, or they cold read. And you're the only, I believe you're the second person that said they don't read it. So I always find that interesting how naturally you react as reading it, recording it. How does that differ?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to like, is a person. I haven't quite figured out my philosophy on it, but for me, being surprised by the material is so much more fruitful. Like it happens in my voice organically as it's happening, as opposed to me being like, okay, when I get to this beat, then I'll do this. Like it's
Okay.
just letting it flow as because I'm a reader too. As much as I'm a narrator, I'm a reader with you.
Okay.
Um, so it's really just a means to enhance what reading is.
Okay. That makes a lot of
I hope
sense,
so.
though. No, it does make sense. And you said in
Yeah.
high school that you were into acting. Is that kind of what led
Yeah,
you
I did.
on the journey to become a voice actor?
Yeah, I did theater in high school. Didn't have the best time, but it was exciting to me, and I learned a lot. Um, and it's weird. My parents were so surprised when I said I wanted to do theater because I was silly person, but still an introverted person. So it was they were sort of shocked when I wanted to do a play. Um, but I really fell in love with it. Um, yeah,
And
yeah,
do you find that you studying theater has helped you in voice acting?
100%. I mean, I think most voice actors come from. I think most actors come from like I did theater in high school background.
Right.
And just learning to just throw yourself out there and be in front of people and emote is learning to do that is, I think, very powerful for anybody. And it expanded even further in college because in college it was like the school I was in was very comprehensive. It was like you're doing it's not just like I took a voice class, but it wasn't voice acting. Like it was like learning to simply release the voice and learning how your breath works and how it works in conjunction with sound. Um, and then also like a lot of physical movement, like movement classes were very important. And I think all of that every single bit of it contributes to sitting in a booth for hours, narrating these romance novels. Helps a
Oh,
lot.
wow, that makes sense. I'm always curious what
Yeah.
kind of process you guys have into voice acting because I mean you are putting on a production when you narrate books. So I'm
Hmm.
always like, how do you
Yeah,
guys
by
get into
ourselves.
that
Yeah.
mindset? How do you
Yeah.
get into character, like especially with Josh? How did you get into Josh's
Especially,
character?
well, Josh was, and I've been saying this a lot. Like, it just felt very familiar because he was like, he's like introverted but goofy, and he has this like sort of like he's confident but also terrified at the same time, and I just think I don't know, it just felt very, he just felt very very cute, and not always I'm not always playing characters that are like cute. They're like hardcore macho 100% of the time. um so in that case it was like it was just sort of just being me. But when I'm playing brutal, the alpha guys, which is not what I am. It's just it's not really like getting into character. It's just like, where's that part of me, and allowing it out. But
Okay.
still, sometimes, like, back when I used to record with an engineer, it would be like I would laugh at myself because it's just like not like it's so not anything I would say or who I am. And I know it'll translate eventually, but when I'm sitting there with, Jared, my engineer friend, we're we're hooting because it's not really, because it doesn't sound organic to me at that time, even if it works in the framework of the audio to a listener.
Is it hard to kind of dive into going from like an alpha reader or not alpha reader, alpha man to like this funny, goofy guy and then like an unhinged mafia man?
uh, yeah, no. The only difficult thing is like technically like having to do. The only time I really get stumbled, like tripped up these days, is if there's like a Scottish person, an Irish person, a Hungarian person, like, all in the same room doing dialogue. Then it's like that's when I get tripped up. But attitudes I can jump back and forth between
Okay.
pretty easily.
And how do you perfect accents?
Mm. Um, I just well, I perfect them by doing them over and over again. I guarantee my accents weren't as clean um and natural uh when I first started. I was always somewhat decent at them, but I've gotten much better because I've gotten the practice. Um but just, YouTube is really cool. It has, you can just go and be like, actual Belgian speaker, and then it'll be all these videos of a person speaking in that accent, and then you can just take a little bit from it, and not always have to do miyakata. You don't always, somebody asked it in the comments, Serena's, is always daddy. um I can never, I really have a hard time not seeing the comments. The ADHD is out of the are they've always come naturally. It's actually one of the first things I started studying before I even did a play in high school. I bought an accents book at Barnes and Noble and um, started learning before anything. So yeah.
What was the first accent that you were able to learn and feel like you perfected?
Well, I thought I perfected English, like British, but it turns out there are like 7,000 different accents, within a 300-mile span. So I'm proud of myself now because I've been able to perfect different areas, different regions. Um, I also thought I was good at Irish in the beginning, but that got way better. That got way better later on. I'm my harshest critic, so I don't know. I don't think I've perfected any of them, to be honest.
Well, your Irish is very convincing because we've listened to it. So I was always curious how you went through the process of learning an accent and getting your voice to, move the octaves and figure out how to perform accents. I always find that very interesting on how you guys do that.
Yeah, I think part of it is not like trying too hard to figure it out, you know?
Okay.
Like it's about like it really is about you're allowing your breath and the sound to just move in that direction. And if you're focused on like I need to sound like this and you're not just thinking I picture in my head usually another person um and then and then it sort of separates in order to do an accent at least, and then it sort of separates you and what you sound like from the sound that you need to do. um even as simple as like if I'm doing a female character's voice, then I'm thinking of them like they are entirely consuming my imagination, right here.
Mhm.
So I'm just it's the beingness, of of them and not wanting to imitate them, but just like diving into them, if that makes any sense.
No, I like the insight 'cause I'm always curious how you guys work because voice acting is a lot more difficult than I initially thought. So I'm like, you guys are putting on a performance in like a booth, and you have to get across emotions and accents and the character's demeanor that we already like put together in our mind by reading it, and then you got to make us happy
Mhm.
while doing it. So we ask a
That's why
lot of
you
you
want
guys.
the audiobook. That's why you want the audiobook release to coincide with the book so you can get ahead of that. So people don't start
Right.
thinking too hard about what they think the characters are.
Right. That makes sense. Do you have a favorite accent to do?
Um Probably just like, southern, anything that sounds like a friend of my grandma. Like sounds like somebody who would have lived on my grandma's street in Fort Worth. Yeah. What do you think
Yay!
about that? It's pretty good. Yeah, it's nice. He's not good night. That kind of like, oh well, good night. I just love old southern ladies.
I love that. That's fun.
Or I love what they
Do
sound
you
like.
right? Do you prefer dual or duet when narrating?
Um I don't know. There's one part of me that's like I like having control, so I want to do the dual so I can do the whole thing. But the other part of me, duet, feels more in line with my beliefs about performance. Like somebody has to play the role, as opposed to just
Right.
like when people were freaking out about the Harry Potter audiobooks when they came out, however many decades ago. Um, I always found myself being like, I don't want a 75-year-old man to be narrating my Hermione, she's not my Hermione anymore, but we won't talk about all that. But it just like to me that felt weird and wrong. But like then now it's kind of like an ego thing where people are like, oh, oh, we like your kid voice though, and I go like, oh well, geez, I guess I'll do it again. you know.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you remember your first book that you ever narrated?
So, Christina, 1 second. What are all these things that are happening on the screen? Somebody just
Oh,
shot a beautiful hand through a window. What is this? A Celine Dion music video? What's
so
going on?
they they can send little characters, and it's just like them sending you coins and things on
Okay. Well,
TikTok.
it looks like you're getting all
It
the
happens a lot
coins.
of times.
You're getting
This usually
roses.
never happens, so it's very new for me to you too as well.
Oh,
We're
yeah. I don't.
experiencing it together for the first
Oh,
time.
I fly like paper, get high like planes. We got an MIA music video or a Celine Dion music video. Which one? The
And you
best of
can
both
perform
worlds.
both.
Yeah.
There we go.
I fly like paper, get high like planes.
He's learning with us because this has never happened to me either. So we're all learning
All I
together.
want to do is and say Celine Dion.
We need to have you like a professional microphone. Here, I'll hold it for you.
Let's move on from that. I don't. It was really, really wrong.
Do
Anyway, so
you
I love
remember
doing
your
the female
first?
voices sometimes. Do you remember your first? Uh oh. Whoa.
Do you remember
Didn't I
your
say
first
nothing personal?
audiobook?
I do. I think it was. There was a couple of them. I can't remember exactly what the first one was, but I think it was a Jamie McGuire book. um, and yeah, Beautiful Disaster or the zombie one. I don't know. I don't know which one was the very first one. But then I did like, I did like a Colleen Hoover, and then you know, um, a lot of people who are now considered sort of like romance royalty, I guess, but who at the time was just like, okay, I'll do a job for, my mom's friends. That'll be nice to start my career, and turned out to be my whole career.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you
Yeah.
have a genre that you haven't done that you want to do?
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't really done any other genres, and that's not true for how my reading, because I love nonfiction. I love music history. I love pop culture history. I want to do fantasy. I want to do uh, people keep saying like do romantasy, and I'm like I have done a little bit. Like Living Legend for Ali Shante, who's the sweetest little cutest lady of all time. And there's there's a lot I want to do. I really liked doing like sort of like spy thriller stuff. That's well, I'm a true crime bitch, so you know. First
I get it.
gift. Okay,
They sent you a little, wow.
is that for me or for you? It's all popping up on your
That's
side.
for you. That was for
Oh,
you. It popped up on your corner.
oh, it looks like it was for
So when
you.
it pops up
I'm
on the
gonna give it
corner,
to
yeah.
you. Anything that I get, I'm gonna give right to you. I get enough. People give me enough bracelets. When I go to the conventions, it's always like, "Do you want a bracelet?" I cannot say no. But then I
Right.
really like the bracelets. But then there's so many bracelets, so you can have them.
I'm assuming you have like bracelets all the way up your arm.
No, that was me in junior high, and then I realized like, oh, this actually makes me really uncomfortable to have stuff fall over my wrists.
And it took me a
ADHD.
long time to, I feel that with you. It took me a long time when I first listened to your voice. It was Taylor Bell. So
Tyler Bell.
hearing you Priest, yeah, hearing Priest and then going to Sinner, and then I'll listen to something else from you. I was like, all I'm picturing is Bell.
Well, I mean, yeah, that checks out. I think it's that way for a lot of people, and I think like when somebody plays a character you love, then you're going to sort of have that like in the Rolodex of your vision of this new character, um, because like you can watch. What's a good example? You can watch Brad Pitt in something, and then be like, you're always still thinking about like the other characters that he's played,
Right.
and I think that's I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, it was the intro that got me hooked on listening to that one. And I was just like,
Singer
okay.
or
No,
priest?
Priest. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
intro and I was like, well, now I have to listen to.
I listened back to that and I'm like, who is that little tiny baby? Like, I sound like a little tiny little baby. And it's because it was a while ago, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't realize how long ago it was until like I was looking into the series, but I was like, it's still everywhere. You still see Priest and Father Bell everywhere. So I'm like, I feel like it just came out.
Yeah, I think there's been a renewed surge, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Did you have fun recording Father Bell?
I remember it being really, really difficult and a nightmare because I was not because of the book, but because it was just like like I struggled with self-hate big time. And in the work specifically, like if something wasn't perfect or if I kept messing up, I just would just I would just go nuts. And it happened a lot at that time when I was recording back then. And a lot at that time back then. But yeah, I think I was just so self-critical at that time that made it really, really difficult. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you went through that, but your performance was phenomenal. I loved that series, and I was just like, you knocked this one out of the park. So it's like I see your name on something, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna immediately get that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think sometimes I mean it's happened actually with several of Sierra's books where I'm like going through a hard time, um, and it informs the depth of the character. It happened with Saint too. I was going through a really bad breakup, and oh my god, it just like this story just it was not a story that I necessarily related to in every way, but I did like you know like it starts off with him just being like, I'm a bad person because of the way that I act. I'm, you know, I need to, I need to stop and like completely upend my life, which thank God it's not what what I did, but I, you know, it's sort of, it really, really touched me because I knew that there were certain changes I needed to make in my life. And it felt so familiar. And I think I was more conscious of that when I was doing Saint. When I was doing Priest, I think I was just very frustrated and angry with myself. And I don't know, sometimes that works for sexy, sexy books.
You poured your emotions into that one. Now, I definitely thought Saint and Sinner were more emotional and had more of a character growth for like the main lead, where I
Hmm.
felt like Priest was just a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Priest was just like, let's ride the roller coaster, you know?
Exactly.
And, and then Sinner is like, time to take Amtrak for a while, you know?
Yeah. No, I was like, I'm going to continue the series, but I didn't expect that emotional aspect of Sinner, which I
Mhm.
appreciated because you delivered such emotion in that recording. So there were parts where I was just sitting there. I was like, I'm gonna have to like pause it 'cause this is making me start to feel all these emotions. And I
Oh
was like, that's
no.
so yeah. I was like, oh, like I'm starting to feel emotional about them. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a minute and we're gonna go and revisit some of the spicy scenes on the altar with Father
Well, isn't
Bell.
that nice for you? Isn't that nice for you, Christina, that you got to take a break? I sit there in the
Yes.
goddamn booth and do the fucking work all day, and you're in
And I
there
just bounced
going,
between you.
time to go do the fun stuff. I mean, you're very lucky.
I had a great
Uh,
time doing it. I was like, all right, well, this got emotional. I'm gonna go hop over here where he purifies her with the oil.
very lucky, very lucky that you get to do that. Yeah, that's kind of the hard part about audiobooks is like things can be going bad and then it just keeps going bad and you have to stay in it. It's exhausting. And whenever I'm on a panel and other narrators are like, this is the best. How do I put that back on? No, I can't do that
Someone
because
sent it to me.
there's no way I'll do anything with any seriousness if I put that back on. Thank you, Jen. Um, uh, well, that just totally made me forget everything. Yeah.
I was wondering how you got through those emotional scenes in, Sinner and in Saints.
Um, well, it's actually a lot easier, because like anytime someone says that, I'm like, oh, you mean the part with the crying? And I'm like, oh, the crying actually was nice. The crying was because it broke and it was able to come out when. So anyway, yeah. Anytime I get that hat on, anytime that hat gets on me, I'll just talk like Waylon Jennings. Um, wow, it throws me off every time. I don't know about that. Hey,
You're
hey,
just having a good time with it.
another one bites the dust.
And do you have
Um,
to go from like a dark romance to like a small town to keep?
what'd you say, sweetheart? What'd you say there, sweetheart? Sorry, honey bun. What? Um,
I'm always curious how you balance in between works. Because like for me, reading so much dark romance, I need something fluffy and
oh,
non-serious to kind of like.
it happens naturally enough anyway, where you're just doing a bunch of different jobs, and so that it luckily that becomes a bit of a wash. But there have been times when books that are not even dark romances really just like knock me out in actual life. Like I was doing Life's Too Short, Abby Jimenez. I think it's Life's Too Short. Um, and I was doing this character that was neurodivergent and super super socially anxious. And I had never experienced an anxiety attack in my life, but then I realized that this conflation of doing this character who was having all these experiences, and also drinking like a foot tall Dunkin' Donuts latte with oat milk every day was, hey, what's up, everybody? Was yo, yours truly. Thank you, Terry. Um, uh, it just affected me so deeply that I started having like pretty severe anxiety attacks. And yeah, so that was tough. But usually that's not the case. Usually I just, you leave the work there and then, not all Daniel Day-Lewis about it. That guy's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm
Thank
always
God, hey,
curious
thank God it
because
was the last of the Mohicans. Am I right? We don't want any more of him.
I'm always curious because there's some books that like I still think about that have, hurt my feelings years ago.
Oh, sorry, what's up? Go on.
I love the persona changes as
Hey,
soon as
bet. Go on. What's up? No cap. Keep going. No cap. Bet.
Oh
Oh my gosh. Just because I used my vape?
no. Yeah, it's being
Wow.
weird.
I didn't know that TikTok did that. That's absolutely demented. All right. Carry on.
TikTok is temperamental.
Oh,
Ooh,
it is indeed, my sweet, sweet girl.
there we go. Now I match you.
Yeah. Now
No,
we're
I was always
brothers.
wondering because there's certain series that I still think about, and if I hear just like a clip of it, I will start crying. So I'm always wondering, like, you guys do the voice acting and you like take on that role. Did you have
Yeah.
any books that kind of still sit with you after long after you've recorded?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, plenty. I try to I've been trying to I haven't been trying to. I've been trying to think of, but I need to go back and research, pardon me, the books that I've done that didn't get a lot of traction and not a lot of people have responded to, maybe because they weren't promoted or like they just got lost in the shuffle. But there are books that I've done that no meow.
Someone's keeping a burp count too for you.
Yeah, they always my patrons do that. Um, uh, what was I saying?
Books that still resonate with you
Anyway, so
long after you've recorded.
I want to go back and find the ones that I've done that like people don't know about that are really that I thought were great. Um, yeah.
They distracted us with the cool stuff. Do you have
Oh,
an author that you haven't worked with and you want to work with that you read either personally or you've seen somewhere?
oh yeah. I've done a title or two for Marley Valentine, but I want to do way more because she's like the coolest person in the world. Um, and there were a couple others that I was thinking of. Um, I've had being in nature on the mind, so I haven't had so much the business on the mind. But yeah, there's a lot of cool people I'm so excited to work with newer authors too because like it's nice to be at just like a level of seniority where I can help other people gain traction with their audiobook.
And how did you feel when, Lights Out kind of blew up? I know you were already like in the spotlight, but with Lights Out, you kind of got like even more spotlight on you.
That just yeah, it just like somehow made it even more hardcore. It made it even more intense, and that was it was exciting. It was cool. I was like, oh, I didn't know. Like I forgot. Like oh, one book can be a hit. It's not just like
Yeah.
people like my narration, but it's like oh, that brought people into the fold who hadn't really listened to audiobooks ever. And That's super cool.
I just love all the reactions
Hey.
and like the little clips
Yeah.
from that book that you've done. They just have me laughing all day. So whenever I need to pick me up, I'll just watch Josh be scared that he's went blind a couple of times, and then I'm a good sport afterwards.
Nice.
Do
Yeah, I
you
should
have
do that.
any projects that you are currently working on that you are excited about?
Um, yeah, something just came out, Charring Bones by Brandy Hines, and she's a cool chick. Um, and That book was like super like aggressive, not horribly dark, but actually quite dark at times. I just remembered some really dark things. It's a very dark romance, but it's also very like a great thriller. And that one I had a ton of fun, and it literally just came out. So everybody needs to go listen to it. Get on down there and go. Hey, thanks so much. Anyway, thanks y'all for repping. Um, no cap.
I can't take anything seriously when you tell me.
Literally, no cap.
See, we need a Batman voice. This was so
Oh yeah. I actually had to go back and redo. I think it was the Batman voice because I went a little too Batman. Because I went like full like where is she? Like I like not like screaming, but like it was like a bad impression of a bulldog, kind of just a little bit of that.
just a full block.
Yeah, yeah. So they were like, "Can you do a little less Batman?" And I was like, "That's really rude of you to ask, but okay."
And you said you got a lot of liberties with Lights Out, so you kind of had fun with it.
I think I gave myself those liberties, and also the book
Okay.
with the tone of that book. I was just like, I'm just gonna be ham, and I'm not always ham. The book allowed me to be ham, and so I went ham.
Did you use that kind of like liberties with any other book that you've narrated that you can think of?
Yeah, because honestly, it's, it kind of comes down to the material. Like, am I going to do like what?
I do.
Hey, I'm gonna let them tell me what to do. Oh, um, no, I'm gonna like follow my heart, and my heart usually is in accordance with what's happening on the page. And there's always something um, there's always something there to pick up on. Uh, and like it's like some books have a lot of subtext and some don't, but there's always something that you can find that you personally connect with, or that you can personally draw out of what's happening. Um, so that's nice.
And how long did it take you to kind of get into the role with narrating with somebody else to pick up on their cues and kind of keep it flowing?
I make them follow me, sweetheart. They just, hey, they're just along for the ride. Okay, I'm gonna fucking fly, and if you can't fly, you're gonna get dragged. Just kidding. I It's nice once you learn your co-narrators' voices, particularly certain people, because then once you learn them, once you learn them, then you can do them, and then the book meshes a lot. The book meshes a lot more easily, and it makes it more fun, because then you're like you're like you're really that enhances the production, is what it is,
And
which you don't really.
there's some,
It's like
sorry.
whenever like I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, like Freaky Friday is a good example where Jamie Lee Curtis, when Lindsay Lohan inhabits her body,
Okay.
then she's playing Lindsay Lohan, and that now I think is really cool, um, because it's basically like a form of that, where I'm like, you like getting to impersonate people is so fun. And like if there's ever a side character that I just like doing impressions so much that, like, if there's a side character and I can, like, I'll do a Billy Crystal, for instance. Hey, then I will do Billy Crystal, as this character, and like nobody will necessarily be the wiser. Um,
Right.
but it's especially nice when it's like your friends and you can do imitations of them.
We caught on to the Teddy, the Teddy invitation. That was, I think I listened to one of your guys' books that you did together.
Yeah, so I really liked working with him because he's just a nice guy. He's just such a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's got a certain
Yeah.
stance. It ends up veering into, I'm like, you're from the valley. Why do you sound like you're from fucking, hey, you son of a bitch? You know? Hey, I'm walking here. It sounds like a Brooklyn, Michigan. Like, what is that?
It's
What the
Teddy.
fuck? Yeah. Hey, I'm from
How,
Saginaw, New York. Oh, oh,
how did you
oh my
feel
God.
about recording Shallow River?
I felt good. Just because I think it was a really good plot. It's some heavy shit, and I've heard mixed reactions from people as to it. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought that it was handled really well. Um, a lot of the more intense stuff in the book, um, which is not always the case. Um, so I was able to, you know, go through it, follow it, knowing that, uh, like, the books that I've had a problem with being too dark in the past are because the alleged hero is like not actually a good person at all, and it's like,
Mhm.
like what is this fantasy? It's not my fantasy, so that makes it a little harder. But when the hero is actually the hero and rescuing someone from a traumatizing um, situation, great. But I also liked playing the antagonist because the antagonists are always, it's just easy because they're just angry usually. And playing demons is as fun as playing angels, Christina.
Do you have fun switching characters when you're recording, like if you're doing multiple points of view?
Yeah. I mean, I really, that goes back to like the I'm a really like I'm a bitch of an artist. Like I want things to go my way. Like when I'm making music, I'm like, no, it has to be like this. And if it doesn't go like this, then fuck everything. And usually that means that I'm like, this is what the ether is saying that this should be. Like this is what this sound should be. So in those situations, it's like when you're playing off of somebody else, you have to be with them and you have to do what they're doing to some extent. You can surprise them, but you have to be in the same world. But when you're creating the world, it's like, oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's great. It's great for some. Oh no! It's great for an introverted actor because then I get to be like, ooh, it's this my little world that I'm concocting myself.
And do you have to separate like little recordings for yourself to
Look at your
keep track
nails.
of?
Your nails are so long.
Oh, my nail lady won't let me go any shorter. So this is
Uh, I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna imbibe tobacco off stage.
Um, do you have to keep little recordings of the different side characters to adjust their voices and keep them, I guess, in track with your mind?
Yeah, when you're recording, typically, I mean, now I've been doing it long enough that I can record at home and just remember what people sound like or what characters sound like. Um, but typically, uh, narrators will have like a bit of a reference, um, like put markers on certain characters so that they remember. Hey, Madam. Um, you just have markers, and so that you can just go back to that character and remember what you chose. Which is great if you like if a character shows up at the beginning and then at the end, because then you definitely won't necessarily remember what you did for this character that you did 300 pages ago.
Right. And do you have trouble keeping track if going through
No,
like multiple
Christina, I don't have
playthroughs?
any trouble. And how dare you ask that? I'm fine.
Well, like I have trouble reading so many multiple points of view, so I'm like, how do y'all keep track of
I'm
who's who?
I am so I confuse myself because I can be so terribly forgetful and not remember all manner of things. But then I'll have this like ease, this encyclopedic like got it thing sometimes when I'm narrating, and I'm like, I don't know how, but I maybe it's because there's like a sense memory to my voice now
Hmm.
where I've just been doing it long enough that like these things just they just come easily. And I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just a skill that's been honed. Um,
Right.
and yeah. Oh, someone just gave me a little dinosaur. Thank you, Kayla. Oh, and Jen said goat. I believe that means greatest of all time. Actually, there are some goats here. They're so cute. I love goats.
Aw. I missed the rock throwing for your puppy. I felt like he's all lonely over there waiting for this
Oh,
rock.
she is now like pouting, just laying at the fence.
Oh,
She's really cute. She's very cute. She's not my dog. She lives on this ranch.
oh, okay. Mm, Chula babies. Do you
Oh,
have any signings lined up that you were planning to go to this year or next year?
just next year, I signed up to do Love LitCon, um, which is in San Diego, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's next. In May. May.
Oh,
Nicole sent me a gummy bear. Um, anyway, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to our in
I just
October. We're always wondering who's going to be
I just
there.
I just lost your audio. You're going to what?
We're going to Love in Vegas in
Oh, nice.
October. So I was
Cool.
always trying to convince people that come in here, like, you want to come with us?
Oh yeah. I've been to Love in Vegas. That's the one I've probably been to the most now. And I've always had fun, but I just hate Las Vegas so much. But
I've
yeah,
never been, but I've never been, but I always hear people either love it or they hate it. So I'm like,
Mhm.
when are you gonna
Oh, you've
go?
never been? Yeah, I mean
I've never been.
it's great if you're like 25 and you want to like take take ecstasy and go drink an Eiffel Tower full of vodka. But when you don't want to do that anymore, then it's not that great. Or if you like gambling, then it's great. But I don't care
I've
about
never
gambling.
gambled. I've done a
Yeah.
scratcher. I think that's like the most I've done. I'm
Well,
not exciting.
okay. Hey, listen, you have a problem. Okay.
Yeah, I've acknowledged it, but it's okay. I won $2
Um,
one time.
two? What didn't it
Two.
cost? A dollar
It did.
fifty? So you didn't win $2. You won 50 cents.
No, it was $2 and then I won $2. So I was like, all right, well, at least I broke even.
Yeah, you broke even. That's the American dream. Oh my God, a lemur. Okay. Oh, meerkat. Sorry. Uh, yeah. So what else? What else?
Hmm. I think I'm out of questions, so I am gonna invite book club in because I know that they have some for you. And if you wouldn't
Oh,
mind taking a picture with us.
oh yeah, of course.
And we want to
Absolutely.
thank you again for hanging out with us. I know you're incredibly busy. I'm sure
I'm
you
not
are
right now.
recording
I'm in the damn countryside.
as a well-deserved break.
And we're going down to three. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi. Okay, you guys are all so little and I'm so big.
Welcome, book club, to our
We're
amazing
all
guests.
here too.
What up, club? What up, club? Hey, club.
I have
It
to
was so
say,
funny the night that I sent something to him
This is
on
cool. I should do
Instagram and
this.
I was like, hey, we have a book club. You want to come? And he's like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, hell yeah. Why not? Yeah, I feel like I should do. I want to. I should do this with my Patreon sometime.
Yes.
But how's everybody doing?
amazing.
Great.
Good.
We just met one of our favorite voice actors, of course.
That's wonderful.
I just met the person I've been listening to for the last 36 hours.
Right?
Oh wow. Did you sleep?
Not that we have a
Lauren,
problem or anything.
not at all. Lauren
Did you
Blakely,
sleep,
like right
Tara?
now, I have slept, but Lauren Blakely, all of her books right now are free on Audible. And so I have
Yes.
literally been just going down the line, one right after another. And
I
right
think
now I'm
every
falling in love with Morgan from the experimental dating
Accidental.
app or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, the
Yeah.
accidental dating experience.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
I
the one
just
I'm
met
reading right
Zachary
now, and I'm
Webber.
loving it.
hers are
And
pretty
I
Evan
cool.
just
Chase's books are available too.
Hers are pretty. Lauren Blakely's books are like you can just suck them down. There's like an ice
Yep.
cream cone book. There's like num 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 num.
Okay then.
gotta love that guy.
How you doing, Munchkin?
I've been hanging around
What you doing,
Brandon's bush.
Munchkin?
I'm like, that's what she said.
Munchkin is tongue tied right now.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Well,
You didn't hear me. I said, Ashley.
Cool.
We're gonna mute
Now,
Ashley here. in a
when
minute.
Troy was here, he was drinking with us, but I don't have
Yeah.
a vape, so I can't vape with you.
I can't even vape. It's against TikTok law.
Hey, I was put in jail last week, so
For what?
I know.
Yes, she was.
so
Yeah,
you
I know,
know,
Cat,
Yeah,
Kitty
the
Cat,
beauty.
you missed it.
I'm
It
sorry.
had to do with this. They were showing.
And I missed it. You did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, my heart.
Who did you say?
It had to do with these, and they were showing, and so they put me in jail.
She showed her boobs.
She did.
Oh. Yeah.
Random.
Well,
We can't.
Unhinged.
We can't do that anymore
You
either.
can't do
so-
that.
But Coke
That
gets a
just
little
went to
crazy.
it.
It's okay.
We're a little unhinged. It's all right though.
Just
A little.
a little bit.
A little.
A little.
Really?
So
really,
I have
actually?
a question.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're sorry.
I had-
No, you're sorry.
The the question I have for you have you ever thought about doing a calm recording?
What? A
Oh,
calm?
like the
One of the-
nighttime, like bedtime
I
calm.
was like, I'm calm. I'm totally fine. Yeah. Yeah, I actually am gonna. I keep telling my Patreon that I'm gonna do stuff like that, and then I haven't gotten around to it. But I think that's the kind of thing, and the kind of stuff that I was doing on Quinn is the kind of stuff I'll have on my Patreon as an exclusive there.
Because I would totally drop Matthew McConaughey for you to go to bed. Like seriously, right now, Matthew
all right.
Matthew puts me
I'll tell you what,
Matthew
appreciate
puts me to bed every night right now. But
appreciate that most definitely from the bottom of my heart.
But
He
I
could
think
just
they
do
get-
that voice for you too, so you don't even have to miss.
Yeah.
I
yep,
I
Yeah, my
actually think they got.
My girlfriend in college was from Jersey, and when we were like, when you're like 19, you're like, let's role play before you realize that like it's not like the best thing.
Oh God.
But she was like, do McConaughey while we were like in it. And I was like, I don't know if I'll do stuff like I don't know if I'm gonna do McConaughey.
You
did
do
it.
a good Teddy.
You did it,
You do
though.
an excellent Teddy, and he
Yes.
did
Yeah,
an
what's the
excellent.
difference?
That in bed with anybody, too.
And he did an excellent Jack too. He did when he was here. He did.
Jack?
He did a Jacob Morgan. Yeah, he did it.
He
Teddy
did.
Yeah,
Oh, he did? Yeah, he's been working
Yeah.
on his for years.
yeah.
He's almost done it.
He did pretty good, I think.
He had to demonstrate for us because we were asking
Yes.
who he liked to work with, and your name came up, so he had to obviously demonstrate his skills.
Right.
I was like, I didn't know he was chewing
Vocal
gum.
prowess.
That was funny.
Oh,
Yeah,
our squirrel brains cannot handle this.
it can't, just can't.
Christina, Marissa has to go to dinner. Can we take the picture?
Yes. All right.
She's on a cruise ship.
Everybody ready?
He's on a boat.
All right.
Marissa's
Ready?
never
1,
home.
2, 3.
Did you get it?
Did we get it? I got it.
I got something.
Awesome.
I always wait until I say, "Did you get it?"
Marissa, have a great time.
Bye,
Marissa,
Marissa.
enjoy
Have
the
fun.
cruise.
Mine was,
She's on a boat.
She's on
Is
a
that
ship.
the weirdest
ship.
request you've ever
It's on a
gotten
boat.
to do a voice, Matthew McConaughey?
what
The
was that the
weirdest
weirdest, the weirdest sex thing I've been asked from a sex partner?
Put it in the book, Kat. Put it in the book.
It goes in the book.
Like
book,
just
Kat,
like
it
an
goes
off
right
the
in
wall,
book.
like someone was
We have
do this voice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
no,
that one too. That's fine.
I honestly, that's the weirdest in terms of voice stuff. I don't think I think it's always been pretty good, pretty A-okay. So nobody's like, do a different voice. they're like, the one you have is good.
Well, because
I
you always do
personally like
impressions so much,
Mako.
so I didn't know if someone was like always requesting a certain impression for you to do.
Oh,
So-
no, I tend to just already end up doing it. People want me to do like certain English accents in a sexy way, and I struggle to do like in a situation like this. I struggle to do sexy dialect stuff because then I get too in my head. But I'll do stupid accents.
we loved it. We had
This was,
fun.
Yeah.
I actually
absolutely amazing.
heard Unhinged Zach for the first time in Shallow River. I've never heard an unhinged version like you did for Ryan.
Like the
and for
viciousness,
pardon.
vicious.
It was vicious. It was vicious. That book was hard. It was definitely a hard read, but it was good. But
Yeah,
I was like, man, an unhinged Jacob Morgan. This- I'm here for it.
yeah. I
Ryan
think
was he was a toenail fungus, but still, it's like seriously, he
Toenail
was. And then
fungus.
her and Billy, oh geez, but Mako swoon. But anyway,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah, that unhinged.
yeah. That I honestly, I wish I got to do that more often. And people in my Patreon have said that a lot. We're like, why don't you play more villains? I'm like, well, because the villains aren't like it's just not the nature of the beast. Like if you're narrating a book, usually the villain isn't the lead. The villain isn't the
Right.
protagonist.
Oh,
So
yeah.
therefore, you're not going to be doing all of it, And in that one, Ryan has his own chapters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that's a very specific instance. That's so uncommon.
You did.
But I
It was one
I
of
love it.
those because it's a HD Carlton. It's one of those that you didn't see coming, but then you kind of sort of did when kind of at the beginning. And um, I was I was kind of taken aback with the whole trope and how brutal it was
Yeah.
throughout. And at the end, I was like, okay, I got to put this down for a second. And that was earlier today. I was like, I can't do this right now. I cannot do this right now. But I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely good.
Yeah, that one I would say pushed right up to my boundary because there are times when I've been
I can see that.
like I can't do it. But in that case, I was like, I thought it was done skillfully. It handled those really, really, really rough
She calls
moments.
that book her trauma dump, doesn't she?
Yes.
I don't know.
It, yeah, well, yeah,
Yes, yeah.
she does call it
If
her
I'm not
trauma dump.
mistaken, yeah, she's referred to it as like her trauma dump book, so makes sense.
Add that.
Gonna be heavy topics.
I could
now.
see that. I could definitely see that.
For sure.
It's definitely not a Marley Valentine. That's for sure.
Oh, her
I
books
loved
make me
meeting her though.
sob.
I love meeting
She's
Marley.
amazing.
It's so cool.
She is so amazing. And then I was like, Jacob's only doing one book out of this whole series. Hello. But then, we have Uncle Teddy and it's okay.
Uncle.
Yes.
We
Yeah, as
have
a matter of fact,
names and drinks to go along with our narrators.
absolutely.
Uh-oh.
And didn't he say Jacob was going to be stepbrother?
He did.
He did. He said Jacob was going to be stepbro. So, yeah. So you're the stepbrother. He's the uncle.
This dog is bringing a rock back to me. No.
She wanted to be in the picture.
Yeah. Oh, look at this.
She's like, are you done yet? Are you done yet?
Play with me.
Go get your ball.
Aw.
Go get your ball. No, not
Both
the
of
rock.
mine are laying right here, too.
We
Um,
appreciate you coming to talk with us. I know you're busy and you're taking time to relax, so being able to pick your brain was incredible. So thank you for joining us. We're huge fans.
Thank you for answering my
I-
DM.
Huge fans.
I really appreciate it a lot. I had a really nice time, and yeah, I'm not so busy that I can't have a nice little chat with you guys. You're really cool.
Well,
I
that's
appreciate
cool.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so
We
glad you answered my
appreciate
DM that day. I was like, I'm going to just shoot my shot here and see if he answers. And I'm like,
You gotta
Christina,
shoot
can
your
you
shot.
please message Jacob and tell him what time he can come to book club, please? I just
I
do the
about fell
invite.
off my chair.
I just do the invite. That's all.
I wasn't even sitting down all the way. She sent me that screenshot. I was like, oh, because you gotta
I'm
warn
like,
a girl.
he said
before
to come, so send
That's
him
so
a
nice that I
message.
have that effect. It feels good.
Yes.
Feels good to know.
Oh yeah, we're obsessed. All we talk about is like, all right, what's another book that we can listen to that he's done, and we have our own little text thread that we go through.
We actually have more narrators or voice actors than we do authors in our book club.
Yeah.
I feel like narrators just like are more on board to chat and show their face. Like it's just sort of like a it's an actor thing, I guess.
Well,
Like
we
almost
absolutely loved
comfortable.
talking to you. We again appreciate you so much for joining us, and
Well,
we
that's
can't wait to listen to more of your work. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. And thank you again for chatting with us.
Thank you. I love talking with you too. I hope you guys have a wonderful, splendid weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come back and join us, okay?
I will. I
Yes.
promise. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.